mixed day in the session on a Wednesday for the exchange right here in Hong Kong, coming out with a first half profit up 14%, turnover-related income and listing fees increasing. But it also said that its website had been hacked, forcing the suspension of some blue-chip stocks. Well, let's get more on this attack and also the numbers here as well from Ron Arculli. He's chairman of Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing. Ron Arculli, thanks very much indeed for coming in. Let's just talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. What did really occur, and how do you prevent it in the future?
I think what happened was that it seemed that at a period of time there was an awful lot of traffic coming into our website. The particular website that's used by companies, by issuers that post notices and particularly price-sensitive information. So it meant that the normal traffic was exceeded, and that other people could get into the website. So that's how it seemed to have disabled us. And there were periods where occasionally you might get through, and so due to the instability of it, and because we were aware that companies were making announcements, we really had no choice but to suspend trading of those particular companies.
Okay, now the trading systems weren't affected, but I mean, how do you reassure investors in the future that you can protect those trading systems from another hack attack?
I think as far as that's concerned, that's an entirely different system. It's separate from the website, and touch wood, so far we're safe. But obviously, as a result of this, we will be revisiting the entire sort of IT infrastructure that we have.
I mean, the CIA haven't been able to prevent themselves being hacked as well, so you've got to have some pretty strong security measures in place.
I think to each his own, in the sense that we obviously got to try our best and do our best. But we did bring in external experts to help us, and I think that's why with their assistance, the IT team was able to sort of have everything back to working order today.
Lift up in earnings taking place. What's your forecast now looking ahead for the rest of the year?
Well, if you look at the markets around the world...
we can't help it. We have to do that every day. It's getting ridiculous.
I think anybody that gives any forecast, forget about the end of the year. At the end of next week, you'll be a very brave person. So I think I'm going to resist answering that question.
But, okay, a lot of what's been going on in Hong Kong has, been driven by the IPO market and the IPO pipeline. Seemingly, we've had a little bit of a dry spell. What have you got in the pipeline?
I think as far as pipeline is concerned, our pipeline is, there are a lot of applications pending. But I imagine that, having come from, a rather sort of strong market into now a somewhat weaker one and volatile one, issuers may have to need time to readjust their expectation of valuation of their shares if they want to go ahead with that.
Is that what's primarily keeping people away?
I think the ones that in fact have applied and have actually got through and pulled back, it's an issue of pricing. And
at the moment you're looking, I mean, it's impossible for you to tell us what you think is going to happen on the financial markets here as well, but do you see, this being the storm before some calm?
Well, I think as far as IPOs are concerned, clearly it's very difficult. It's always, the choice of the company, and also the choice of the exchange is important. Clearly, we're happily in Asia, and in Asia, at least the economies of the Asian countries are, fairly robust and fairly optimistic, going into not just this year, but in the medium term, in the next 3-5 years.
You had your first yuan-denominated sale, I think it was April, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you see more of that sort of stuff taking place?
We expect to. We expect to see that, and we're getting up a sort of RMB yuan, trading support facility, which is a backup in case investors can't actually get access to renminbi for that type of product.
And what about other products? What have you got in mind here?
Well, I think the team is working, and obviously, as far as that's concerned, clearly, it's really the investment broking community. It's up to them and the issuers and the companies to actually come up with product. We simply, provide the platform for them to get listed and traded.
Right, and also, what about regulation here as well? I mean, some of the companies that have been listed, and I'm not going to mention any names. I've mentioned one, Sinoforest, for instance, that was a victim of short selling there as well. But could a company like that list on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange?
I think when you talk about reverse mergers, which is where the trouble seems to have come in the North American exchanges, our regime here is a bit tougher. When you try to do a reverse merger in Hong Kong, we actually make the company go through an IPO process. So the vetting and the screening is a bit more vigorous. But that doesn't mean it can't happen to us. I don't want to mislead the market or mislead investors to say that,
So do you need to toughen things up is what I'm trying to get at?
I think the trouble is that, you need to be careful, and investors also need to be careful. But, what I was going to say was that you rely a lot on professionals, you rely a lot on the management of the company. And if people are bent on mischief, you may not always pick it up. So the integrity of the system really depends to some extent on the integrity of the professionals involved and the companies involved.
Ron Arculli, last question. Are you going to buy the London Stock? Are you going to buy the London Stock Exchange?
Can't afford it.
Oh, come on, you can. Yes, you can easily do it.
No, I think as far as we're concerned, we obviously keep a constant review of what's going on around the world, not the least including, the merger between Deutsche Börse and NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. For us, you need to have, very good strategic reasons and very good synergies and commercial rationale. So far, we haven't found any yet.
Right. Not with them. But I'm sorry, I did promise you that was my last question. But what about somebody else?
We are in no discussions. We're not in any discussions with any stock exchanges about, doing a merger or anything like that. Technology, joint ventures, product joint ventures, all that sort of thing is very much on the cards and very much in this, in our mind. But not, we don't see common ownership as a necessary sort of way to go.
Ron Arculli, thank you very much indeed for joining us there. He's the chairman of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Just Hong Kong exchanges and clearing there after posting first half net income of just shy of 2.6 billion Hong Kong dollars.